Ladies and gentlemen, these are all the major changes for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies Season 1. It just came out, and I'm going to explain all of the brand new features you need to know about, all of the big changes, and a lot of the new content that you can go experience, because it's not as straightforward as it may appear on the surface. So we're going to talk about literally everything you need to know, including a brand new boss fight, a new story mission, and some extra secrets you're definitely going to want to know about. So first and foremost, there is a brand new act of story missions that got added, and you can actually go ahead and do this story without needing to complete the previous 3, which is very interesting. However, I will say that Act 4 is going to be way more easy and straightforward, typically if you have done all 3 of these missions, because you'll have more unlocks for stuff, but it's definitely not required. I will also say that Act 4, you pretty much need a squad to do this. A lot of things you can get away with playing solo, and I've made solo guides already, but this is not one of those things. Now, what is in this extra content, or this Act 4, is very interesting. This is a very big update, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to cover everything you need to know. Before we do that, real quick, I want to thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Star Trek Fleet Command. Listen, I was thinking the other day, we were all born way too late to explore Earth, and we were all born too early to explore deep space. But we were born just in time to command the Enterprise and explore the Star Trek universe with legendary characters. In this game, you can explore the vastness of space, see the galaxy, and engage with other players in this free-to-play MMO. There was recently a brand new update that features all kinds of new characters, brand new missions, and even game modes to play for yourself. Personally, I love the look of the game. The color palette is extraordinary, and it's one of my favorite aspects about it. You can also use the promo code Warp Speed for free stuff. Once you download the game, you go to your profile, your settings, and then you go to general, and you can add this code for free things in the game right away. So the game is incredibly engaging and enjoyable, and right now is the best time to download it and get started. With an open world, amazing graphics, iconic Star Trek cast from all your favorite classics, I think it's going to hit that nostalgic itch that some of you may have. So you can go download the game for free right now using the QR code or the link in the description and get exploring the galaxy today. And thank you so much to Star Trek Fleet Command for sponsoring the video. So when it comes to this Tier 4 mission, you're going to notice that there's this brand new portal that's located in this section of the map right near the Tier 3 zone, and there's also this giant vortex right next to it. While you cannot interact with this vortex at the moment, we will get to that a little bit later, the thing you're going to want to do is enter this portal, and this is going to drag you and your squad into a brand new portion of the map. Now, again, I will say, if you're going to go ahead and do this, make sure you have a team. It is not built for solo whatsoever. It's going to get a little bit tricky if you try to do that, so definitely bring in your friends or, squad up with randoms, whatever you got to do. But this is going to give you access to the next quest item you're going to need. And you're going to want to complete this Act 4 mission because it's going to unlock the door for many cool items and different things you can then acquire. But completing this mission will also give you access to unlocking some brand new schematics inside the Dark Ether Rifts. But you need to complete this as a prerequisite, and I cannot stress that enough. And then after completing this mission, whenever you do that, you will get access to Dark Ether Rifts, which are still being activated, and I will make an update video on how exactly Dark Ether Rifts work eventually once that gets kind of sorted out. But that is going to be where the most challenging stuff in the entire game is, and also where some of the best rewards are. Speaking of which, there are some brand new schematics in the game, and some that they didn't even put in the patch notes. For example, the legendary Ether tool is now available, as well as a flawless Ethereum crystal, which is the Tier 3 Pack-a-Punch. But furthermore, we also have a bunch of schematics for the Dogbone, which will give you a friendly Hellhound. We have an Ether Blade, which essentially acts as the Hell's Retriever from Mob of the Dead. You can throw it, it will track enemies, and then, it'll come back to you. And then finally, we have the Golden Armor Plate schematic, and this will actually regenerate your armor over time, just passively without having, you don't need to do anything. Of course, you can manually replay, but this is going to automatically regenerate it for you. Now, you'll notice that these particular schematics are in a classified tab, meaning these can only be acquired through the Dark Ether Rifts and their rewards. And again, accessing the Dark Ether Rifts is basically like the endgame content, which can only be activated after you've completed that Act 4 mission. So that is like the first and foremost thing you should do once playing the new update for zombies. And also, if we take a look through our Wonder Weapons tab, you'll notice as well that there is a schematic for the Scorcher. This was previously unavailable through schematics. It was in the game. You could acquire it as a Wonder Weapon, but only only as a drop or, like an acquisition, so it wasn't around all of the time. Not only are there schematics for the Scorcher as a wonder weapon, but a new one has already been added to the game, and I have used it. The VR11 is now here. I will say it's not my favorite wonder weapon right now. Maybe I'm just not using it correctly, or, I'm not using it in situations that it's good. It's fine. It's a good wonder weapon, and it looks cool, but I can't say it's the most effective thing. I think I still like the Wonderwaff more, but in case y'all wanted to see it, I've got you on that. It is acquirable through doing a lot of like tier 3 contracts. That seems to be the most consistent and straightforward way to get it right now. There's currently no schematic for the VR11, but it is an interesting one to say the least. Also, players will receive a buff with it when you're shot with the VR11, which is incredibly interesting. So to make this as easy as possible for you, if you want to access the Dark Ether rifts and also getting the sigils that will allow you to access even more difficult versions of this Dark Ether rift, the thing you're going to need to do is beat this Act 4 mission, obviously, and you're going to get an item at the end of this. Now, spoilers, I'm just going to walk you through how this mission works so that you can go in prepared. You're going to load into this section of the map, and you need to break 4 different seals. This means going up, activating them, turning them on, and there will be a small ring that is floating around this altar, and you need to kill zombies soulbox style in the proximity of it. They do have to be fairly close for them to collect, and with every altar you complete, it's going to shine, and then you're going to get a specific item that will float on the altar, like a pill bottle or a CCTV camera or something along those lines. And you're going to notice that they are associated with a certain elemental type. And at the end of this act, what you're going to notice is after fighting the main boss, which is the boss from Act 3, although a little bit buffed this time, you're going to get an item that is actually a frozen diary. And this can be kept after the game. It can be in your stash, and this will go to the altar that is where the vortex is located, where we were at the beginning of the game. You'll notice that there are other altars that need other items, presumably the ones that we saw in this story mission. And so after getting the diary from the worm, that's what you will get at the end of this one. And keep in mind, that will be the item that you always receive at the end of this boss fight. To get different items, we're still working that out, but one of them can be acquired by shooting the purple harvester orbs that fly around the map with a dead wire gun. That will give you another one to put on the altar. And again, keep in mind, these can be put in your stash so you can hold on to them for a future game or to use in a future session. So I would say after you've beaten the boss from Act 4, keep the item that it gives you for now until you know exactly what to do with it. You can hold on to it forever and it won't go anywhere. It's worth mentioning that many of the acts and story missions from 1 to 3 have been patched, have been slightly reworked or rebalanced in this newest update, as well as a bunch of fixes for some of the weapons. A few of them are bugged or just not doing damage properly. A lot of the weapons got changed in this most recent update, and if you want a full list on what changed with those specific details, I'll leave the link down below in the description. Also, another big change you may have noticed is now there's a green bar under your health, and this is basically just your stamina bar. This does not change anything with your movement speed or, your general slide movement or anything. It's just a visual indicator for the stamina that you already had. They didn't change anything about the movement. They just gave you a visual representation of it, so just so nobody's getting confused there, that's what that is. But there's a bunch of little minor changes like that, including the Tier 3 cargo contract, which is the easiest one, has now been relocated to a different spot. The cargo route is still the same, but the actual contract has been placed in a different area, which is pretty interesting as well. But after doing the story mission again and accessing the Dark Ether Rift, apparently this Tier 4 location, there may even be Tier 4 Pack-a-Punch in here. We're still trying to figure that out, and obviously getting the sigils and the Elder sigils, which will allow you to access even more difficult versions of that. There's a lot of really cool endgame content to get into, but if you haven't done the previous acts, definitely that is a place to start. But even if you haven't, you can go ahead and get the story mission done through the portal if you do wish to. But these are all of the major changes with Modern Warfare 3 Zombies Season 1. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe if you're brand new. I would really appreciate it for more Zombies content, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy and peace out.